What's up? Welcome back to Thrylos International, your number one English source for all things Olympiacos. My name's Costa. I'm joined tonight by my friend, my good friend and co-host Labros Sirmos. It's a wonderful night, people. 3-0 victory against Braga. This is Olympiacos, man. That was Karaiskaki. That's the Olympiacos that we remember from the end of last season. We're going to get into it tonight. Before we do, guys, don't forget, like and subscribe. Help us to continue growing this community of red and white fans from all over the world. We've got one more person joining us as well. It's Marshall from France. Marshall, it's good times, man. Let the good times roll. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing?
So nice to be in a pod after a Europa League win.
When's the last time we won in the Europa League? Can somebody tell me?
Has to be the Serbian club last season, probably at home.
Yeah, true. With Carlos
I almost,
Carvajal
you
with
know,
no fans.
I almost forget that was actually a Europa League game, like Batska Topola. All right,
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah, we beat West Ham last season. We beat Topola.
Oh, yeah, West Ham.
Yeah, West Ham and Batska Topola. We had 2 wins, didn't we?
5-2. 5-2 against Bakatopola.
Yeah, yeah, but like two wins overall in the group stage last season, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
we had the draw against Topola, where we went 2-0 up, and then they clawed back 2-2. Diego Martinez thought, it's okay, we dropped points. Anyway, where do we even start?
I want
with
to
today's
start
game?
real quick. Like some
Go.
of the fans will know the song Mesasti no Paparina. I made a new song off of that, and it goes Mesasti Bosnia Herzegovina Pirametini Sopalia Yatimaste Panathinaikos. So we'll start that way. You know, some clubs winning in Europa League, some clubs fucking drawing in Conference League with Bosnian champions. Incredible.
Did that finish?
Yes, it finished. They couldn't even fucking beat them, and we're playing them this weekend. You know, I cannot wait. I cannot fucking wait. They got the draw in Bosnia. It was a tough away draw. But they got it. So they're going to be
We
home
didn't beat them
rejuvenated.
once last season, too.
We have to beat them. We have to put them
How
away.
do we not beat them?
They're
How did we
making
not beat them last
history.
season?
It may have been Borak's, not Borat, but Borak's first ever goal in European competition in the group stage level. It's a huge club.
Anyway. Nobody cares about them. Nobody cares about them. As my friend Dirmus Loner is saying, hit the like button, guys. Happy days. Hit that like button. Costs you nothing, means everything to us. Got lots of comments coming in. Andreas Adim says, good evening, everyone. Just got back from the Karaiskakis. What an amazing night. Hussein, our good friend and patron. After a long time, I lost my voice again. Great match in Karaiskaki. What a night it was. Loads of people in here that were actually at the game. OSFP, Olympiacos Vrixeles. Big up Brussels, massive. Just came back from the stadium. I was sitting next to a pope. Such a Greek night. Do you mean a pope? The pope was in Athens at Karaiskaki or what? If we play like that all season, he says we'll win the title and make a great journey in the Europa League. Amen, brother. I hope so.
Yeah, no, but the atmosphere was probably the best one we've seen at the stadium since a lot of time, in my opinion. Because I think we talked about it a lot of time, like the atmosphere at the Karaiskakis wasn't really the same since COVID, probably, and that's the thing we have to win from Europa League and Conference League, like night atmospheres at the stadium, wins, and the one comes with the other. Like the wins bring back the atmosphere, and the atmosphere bring back the win.
I mean, let's kind of get first reactions from everyone before we kind of get into the game. There were surprises like in the lineup too, we can say. Which we can talk about, but like I'll start with you, Labro. What's your first take, like your first reaction following today's game?
my first take was we're back almost like the football that won us Conference League last year. We haven't seen that high press. They were on the second half, they were shell shocked. They could not do anything. They couldn't get the ball out of their feet. High press, direct football, quick movement, fluid, players everywhere. To be honest, we haven't seen that all season. And we had people like in the comment section, we ourselves started questioning, was this because of Fortunis? Was this because Podence? Can we not play this way anymore? Like what happens? Can these new recruits not play? It was answered tonight. I think that's the most important thing. We can still play like we played last season. I think we played better tonight almost than we played in a lot of those European games where we went on to win. The high press was so good. The midfield was fluid. Heze was good. Rakitis played exceptionally well. I think Gelson Martins played really well as well. I think he played very well creatively. Rodinei in the press was smart. He understood his role really well. And I think Rodinei playing on the wing gives us a bit more security as a fullback in his natural position, because we don't have Ibora, who really sat back and in front of our defense with this midfield. We don't have an Ibora type in this midfield, but you do have Rodinei, who's a bit, he likes to go forward, but he is a defender at heart. So honestly, just I think the most exciting one, the result exciting too, but the football we played, there was kind of this fear, oh God, can Mendilibar not figure it out? Like, is this team not going to be able to reproduce what it did last year? And I think the full out excitement is everyone realizes, like, are we going to play like this every night? Like, maybe not, but holy shit, like we can do it. We still have a system that reminds us of what we did last season. So that's my first reaction. You guys can go on.
Marshall, what about you?
I think my first reaction would be to be pleased once again that the coach really seems to learn from every game. Like every mistake he might make is something that he will have in mind when he will field the next team. Because Mouzakitis starting tonight means that he was pleased by what he saw against Atromitos. He was displeased by what he saw against Lyon and against Aris, like with players with Yaremchuk, for example, like Velde that did not came in today, if I'm not mistaken. I liked the lineup with Costinha and Rodinei because what frustrated me in the past with Olympiacos was a coach choosing one or two players and it works, and they don't get to play a second game. And Costinha and Rodinei, we've seen that it works. It might not work over 10 games, but it was due to work today, and it was up to Mendilibar to put them back again on the pitch. And the fact that the coach is so rational over simple things like that is what gives me hope. And I might have criticized Mendilibar because he basically stopped it, do that from the match day 1 to the match day 5. Because he needed to integrate the signings, I guess. And it costed us the draw against Panathinaikos, even if we drew mainly due to efficiency. But my first reaction that I liked the lineup, and the game basically happened how I expected him to happen. If that makes sense.
If I'm being honest, I was a little bit apprehensive going into the game. But my nerves, anxiety started to kind of fade watching how we played the first 10, 12 minutes of that game. It was like we really went out there the first 12, 15 minutes and we did what we were so good at doing last season, which was pressing high up the field, forcing errors. Like, their goalkeeper was all over the place, Matt. Like, his kicking was terrible. It was like just passing straight back to us. And, I felt like they were really shook the first 10, 15 minutes of the game. Like, we did really well, making them feel uncomfortable. And it was so important that we just came out of the blocks aggressive, and we let them know very early on that, guys, is not happening for you tonight, not in our house. And we went out and we showed a little bit of why we wear this on the sleeve this year.
What was it?
And
Was it due to you to honor the memory of what's the name of the guy? You said not in our house.
Andre Horta?
No, the NBA player that just passed.
Dikembe Mutombo.
Yeah. You gave him an honor tonight without knowing it.
Not in our house.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he created it.
Oh, really? No, I actually did not know that. So I learned something new today. But yeah, man, it was totally like our approach in the first 15 minutes was just like, you're not in our house, guys. You're going to have a difficult night tonight. Look, yes, we did see glimpses of the Olympiacos of old, but I think there's also something that I'd like to say early on is that the turning point in the game is the Dolakis save on Ricardo Horta. That's the turning point of the game. If you look at the stats, actually, okay, they had more possession, I think 55%. It's not a great deal more than we did. They had quite a few shots on goal. We made 5 saves. Their keeper made 3. We were obviously very efficient with our chances, a characteristic of ours from last season as well, as we've said before. But really, that's the turning point for me. The Dolagi save, getting that goal before, right on the stroke of half time. And then also, we had a little scare in the second half with Carmo clearing off the line, and then the game was kind of done. But those are, for me, just to add on to what you guys have said.
Can we have a word over how quick Solakis is able to come off the
line?
Yeah, off the line. Yeah. Like it looks like the perfect mix between a on-ball goalkeeper and a football one. Like, the way he uses his feet, the blocking of a shot with the feet like that is not really something you get to see every week. His potential is tremendous for me.
Yeah.
And how nobody picked him up on a free, I think you were saying as well in the WhatsApp chat earlier. If you're part of the Patreon chat, you would have already got some glimpses and previews into Martial's takes. There's loads of takes from Martial in that Patreon group. From 7:30 in the morning, he's already talking about Olympiacos and dropping opinions. People waking up and drinking their coffee and reading Martial in the
I do that every
group.
morning. I'm blessed nowadays to live in the US, so I can wake up at 6:37 with my coffee, and first thing I do is read a 20 message thread by Martial, like philosophical French, like I was thinking, once and this and Stefan Jovetic.
The thing about Solakis is that when you follow the market in Europe, like you have so many clubs that struggles to find a goalkeeper, but the same applies for El Kaabi, man. Like even teams like Marseille, they will most likely go to spend 30 millions to sign Wai from Lens that has potential. But El Kaabi is so underrated in the market.
I don't get how Fener didn't sign him like Mourinho. Like, what the fuck are you going to do with Edin Dzeko finish 37 fast on the same money probably? Like, so slow, Edin Dzeko, versus like what El Kaabi brings you in the press and positioning in the runs he makes. Like, El Kaabi's a perfect European striker for a team like Olympiacos. Like, just perfect. Built in a lab almost.
It's brilliant. And see him running after the first
his
goal.
Press. The goalkeeper, the central defenders did not understand like how to break out of the press. El Kaabi, Chiquinho together did. Like, it was incredible to watch. I think Carlos Carvajal, I think he prepared them by watching the game tape of this season. Like, if they had prepared watching Olympiacos from last season, I think they would have been better prepared. I don't think they were ready for that heavy press because we hadn't done it all season. Like, Braga looked hopeless breaking down the press. Like, they looked completely lost. Like, they've never played anything like that. It was interesting.
it's kind of funny because in the press conference you got the impression that, come on guys, that you know what this team's good at. Like Orta was at the press conference, Carvajal was at the press conference, Orta was playing for us for 6 months, Carvajal was at the final. Like, he knows what Mendilibar's Olympiacos is about when we're in our stride, like when we're playing,
Yeah.
on our level. And part of the reason I was nervous, like really nervous, like in today's game, was it was a must-win game. Like this, Atromitos was a must-win game. Today was a must-win game.
Both of these
Sunday's a
games were
must-win
very
game.
important.
They're all like back to back after some, bad results and a lot of griña. But I just want to read this comment from Concept Calcio. It's like, tonight epitomized what Olympiacos at Karaiskakis should be: the speed, the intensity, the aggression, get the crowd on top of the opposition, the keeper, defenders, go for the kill. That's exactly it. And that's exactly what we did. And you felt like the crowd in the second half, man. And you know what, guys? I think I'm not afraid to say it. I kind of said it in the preview episode yesterday. You need a bit of luck too. Like El Kabi's first goal, man. El Kabi's first goal was a deflection. It probably was going wide. It's gone in, It's just what we say in Greek. Nina se theli bala a little bit. You need a bit of luck. Like Head says, goal, the second one, I feel like he intended to strike the ball into the ground and get it over the keeper's head. It was a great finish. And then El Kabi was just like Rodinei on the press, man. Like, you gotta give him credit too, man. Yeah. Like, I think he's done really well at right wing, and I know that like we were witnessing and hearing so much moaning about, oh man, we're going to play with Rodinei at right wing and Katadia and what the hell's happened. He's done really well. He did really well on the weekend against Atromitos. He did really well today. He contributed to the press, and the guy's been playing flat out. Like, did he come off today? I think he did come off at the end, didn't he?
Yeah, Masouras came on.
Masouras came in,
which is good that Masouras got some speed minutes.
But the guy's been playing flat out, and
if you see the strengthening, sorry to cut you off, Costa, but the strengthening of this right side with Costinha and Rodinei, it feels like Ortega feels more free and is moving forward with more intent. Like, he's not so scared. Like, I think that's one thing that is going to go underrated this game, but I think Ortega was moving forward with intent and was making powerful runs, where it's almost like sometimes he makes the run just, to make the run, but is a bit cautious. But like, he was committing, he was committing to the runs and working well with Gelson Martins, really. So that was really interesting too. Like, Gelson Martins and Ortega worked really well together tonight.
I think Gelson played. I think it was one of the first time I saw him play without the fear of getting injured. He was running everywhere, trying to dribble. It reminded me of Sporting Lisbon's Gelson Martins that play at Karaiskakis, because I do believe that a player that has so many injuries like that most likely play with the fear of getting injured, like probably restricting some dribble movements because he knows that it could create an injury. But we've seen that he has what it takes to create a danger out of nowhere. It basically just need to have a season with 30, 35 games, even if he does not start all of them, if he doesn't finish all of them. It will be useful for sure.
Oh, for sure. Honestly, this team is just, the last few weeks have been really difficult, and I think we've been going back and forth. Like, did the team make the right mercato? Did we make mistakes? And, I think that's still yet to be seen. And like, who have we talked about for the first 15 minutes of every episode we've done all year? Oh, Fortunis this or Podense that. Like, no one in the comment is talking about that. No one tonight wants to talk about that, because the team today proved that they don't need those players to play fucking good European football, attacking football, pressing. And I think it's just so exciting that, you look at our roster. Marcial and I were talking about, like, you look at our bench as well. Like, this is one of the strongest benches Olympiacos has had in a while. Like you look at the bench and you're like, there's options. Like you can change the system, you can change the personnel, there's a lot of options on that bench, and this team is just starting to gel. And to be honest, I was watching Panathinaikos and PAOK this evening, and like, Jesus Christ, man, if we can put it together, we can win this league. Like we can win this thing. We can do it. Like, and I think having a little of perspective, we have built a good team. Are there going to be some issues and growing pains? Yes, but tonight showed like we got the sip. Like we were like, oh my God, this could be another great year. So it's going to take work. It's going to take work. You know, we're going to have tough moments in Greece where people are going to complain that we're not creative enough. But if we can play football like we did tonight, we can advance in the Europa League, and we can, on our day, we can play with anyone in Europe, like as we saw last season. Like we can play. And Mouzakitis becoming the third midfielder is exciting. Like, is he going to be the one to unlock this midfield? We were saying Doi. A lot of us were saying Doi should be the sixth. And now Mouzakitis comes and you say, maybe it's Mouzakitis to complete the midfield and figure this trio out. So that's my little rant. Go on, guys. I'll see how.
I've said that Hendoy should play as a six. It's visible that Mouzakitis has so much more to bring to this team. But I think for me tonight, Dani Garcia is completely out of the equation. Like, there isn't any Dani Garcia in my mind now. Like, it's either Mouzakitis rotating with Hendoy and Oliveira maybe. And
Stamanic maybe.
No.
No.
You can't take him out of the team. You can't take him out of the team. No. Today was a massive test for him. Like, I don't know, man. I'm still looking for that freaking clip from the summer where I said that he's going to be a starter with Chiquinho and Heze, and I can't bloody find it. But it's not a surprise to me. Maybe look, I think anyone that's played a bit of football, anybody that knows a little bit about football, you watch a player. He's captain of the youth league team. Huh? We had 6 goals or something in the youth league campaign as a midfielder. You're just like, this lad, he's unbelievable. And it's not just his creativity, like his vision, his passing. Like, he pinged over some long balls in the first half. You know, a cross-field switch, 35 yards, 40-yard passes across the field to feet, like it was nothing. It's just like a computer game, mate, you know? He made it look so easy. And I was like...
The other thing, Costa, is he dives into tackles weighing 50
tenacious.
Kilos and
Yes.
2 years old looking, and he wins the ball off mountain men, and just easy gets up and fucking distributes it, and you're like,
yeah,
how did that child just do that? You're just like, it's kind of like, what the hell? He weighs 50 kilos and he can slide in there, win the ball, boom, ping it on his left foot, and it's wait, what? It's kind of it's kind of wait, what just happened?
I told my wife about Kostulas and Mouzakitis on the weekend, and I was like, no, it's amazing, these 2 17-year-olds starting for the club. And then she comes in and I was like, they did a close-up on him, and she was like, who's that? He's got a baby face. And it's like, that's the 17-year-old midfielder I was telling you about. He's only 10 years older than barely 10 years older than my daughter. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Good on him, man. I'm so happy for him. He made some comments as well after the game.
Oh, you should have seen him, his smile on his face. Cosmo Tate interviewed him on the side of the pitch, and they're like, how does it feel to have 33,000 people singing your name? And he was just like, it's the best moment of my entire life. And you're just like, oh my God, you're ready to just I will defend this guy until I die. You know, it's fuck. It feels beautiful. So different. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, man. Can you imagine the scouts that have been at the stadium tonight? He's the number one name on the notepad. 100%.
If you're 100%. A scout and you see a 17-year-old playing like that in the Europa League and playing for an Olympiacos, and I think people don't talk about this. The scouts know that Olympiacos struggles to produce youth players because of the pressure and the style of the club. So people have got to be like, holy shit, there's something here. So
Big time.
Martial?
Sorry, I just want to go back to this comment from my friend from Brussels. When he meant Pope, he meant a priest. You can write in Greek if you want. Γράψε φίλε μου. Ένας papas. Don't know what it is in English. It's a priest. Papas is a priest in English. Δεν πέφτει με τίποτα. How do you translate that into English, Labra? Δεν πέφτει με
It
τίποτα.
doesn't go down with nothing.
Chase with evil.
Chase with evil, yeah.
Stefanos wants you to do the chant in French now. At the beginning.
All I know is ensemble. Isn't that right, Martial? They sing that in France.
Oh my god.
I don't recall that.
Anyway.
Yeah, I was watching a compilation of Turkey against Rangers. Like he almost beat Rangers on his own.
Who's that?
Cherky.
Ryan Cherky.
The Lyon winger.
Yeah, Lyon played really well tonight.
I think Europa League it's such a different competition compared to Conference League because you get to face like insane players, like Champions League quality players. And as much as we mainly sucked in Lyon, the goal that Cherky scores, you only eat that in Europa League or Champions League.
Yeah.
You know, like
I was listening.
So close.
Like, sorry to cut you off.
Oh,
Someone was, I think, one Greek journalist today. He was commenting about Birola's performance and how he was slow to react on one occasion, and that was the goal that Cherky scored. And I was like, no, mate, it's not about him being too slow to react. It's about the other guy just being that damn good.
yeah.
Like, why do people think like that? It's like they just like focus on the, it's not even a mistake. It's just the other guy is that damn good.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Sorry, ran over. I just wanted to.
You're very right, because I think the main analysis from me in Lyon is that, we basically decided to play it for the draw. And we have, I think, one enormous situation, even bigger than the one we had tonight, and we did not score. And then we ate a goal at the very wrong moment, and it's goal out of nowhere. Like, it's basically same kind of goal like the one from Heze in Aston Villa, like deflected shot out of nowhere. But Cherky, like, it has tremendous quality. Like it's probably the best player in Europa League on paper.
Yeah.
And the thing that frustrated me with this club is that we don't accept that someone might be better than us. Like some players will be better. It does not mean Pirola sucks. It does not mean like the pass from Zaha. He was out of
Zaha, that pass was so close.
He had a terrible League One game right after the victory over Olympiacos, but the pass was so elite. I mean, you just have to admit that.
Yeah.
Because it would have meant like Aston Villa basically sucked against us because we were too good. No, we were just better at the time.
Yeah. Honestly, though, it's I think the thing that just like makes me so excited about tonight is just this isn't over. Like, this story is not done. It felt like people were like, we got the Conference League, we won, we didn't make the signings, we didn't resign the people. This is done. Like, Olympiacos, that exciting football that won us the Conference League, like, it's over. We played the first game with 5 at the back, and people were like, oh, Mendy Libar doesn't believe in us, whatever. And I know it was Braga, and Braga's not the best team in Europe, but not the worst per se. But it's just the way we played tonight that I think is so exciting to me, that I can go home and look in the future and say, like, we can still play that brand of football that won us the Conference League, and it's still early, and we're adjusting to new players coming in. Panos Retso said the same thing. Cosmote interviewed him outside the stadium, and he was just basically like, look, we had to replace a lot of creative players, and this is going to take time. People were essentially overreacting, thinking we wouldn't be able to play football like this anymore. But I think that's reassures me even more, that we can still we can still do it, that we can play like that, right?
Also, home games for Olympiacos are very different from away games. And I've seen a lot of Lyon fans saying that, like, yeah, because a lot of fans from Lyon said after the game, yeah, Olympiacos sucks. It's not very representative for Lyon to build off that. And a lot of people said also, like, yeah, playing Olympiacos away and home is not very the same. It's not the same thing. And
We are
that's why.
But going back, since Maccabi Tel Aviv, we've beaten Fener at home, we've beaten Aston Villa at home, and now we've beaten Braga. Did I miss anyone? So we've won 3 straight games at home in Europe, I believe.
Ferencváros.
But
that was before Maccabi. My bad.
So we've gone 4-1. Let's say we lost to Maccabi. We've gone 4-1 in the last 5 games in Europe. So, you know, we're rebuilding the home record, guys. Like, I don't know if you remember from 2020 to 2022. Like, didn't we lose? How many games at home did we lose? How many failures to get wins? Like, there's something like 16 games where we couldn't win a game. There was some crazy statistic.
It was a horrible stat. You're right.
So we're kind of rebuilding the Karaiskaki, like as Martial said, it's like a fortress, you know, that people don't want to come. So I think that's really important. And the fans too are like, you saw today, you know, that thing where, you know, it's not just Gate 7 singing, but like the whole fucking stadium is bouncing and jumping up and down. And it's like, that's what makes Karaiskaki the best stadium to come into. It's not like just Gate 7. It's when everyone gets involved and they just, you know, I think we're rebuilding that sort of fortress that we grew up with, like all of us grew up with, you know, that fell for a bit, but that's also very exciting. So
yeah, I agree.
And now it's like, I'm so excited, you know, today was just a great day. It's like, can we go do that in a Waka full of fucking 60,000 people? Can we go and do it there now? Can we go play? Can you imagine Panathinaikos, Schenkefeld, like playing out of the back with that press? Like, can we go and replicate that in Oaxaca?
The pressure's on them, man. They're going to have their fans are going to be on their back, and that's a good position for us to be in. I think kind of takes the pressure a little bit away from us, and we can go there and play our game. I don't think the players in the team. You look at them; they're fearless. All those players that we have in our team, in my opinion. There were a couple of good comments I just picked up, like this one. Actually, like as good as we were today, like again, guys, all of the goals that we score, they're not a product of like build up. They're product of what we said characterized us a lot last season was the press, forcing errors and capitalizing. All 3 of the goals that we scored today. So yeah, there were like situations like after 2-0, there was a lovely bit of football that we created. I think there was a flick from Chiquinho and the ball was kind of getting close to the box and we kind of muffed it up, and there were a couple of 4-on-2s where we, you know, I think Chiquinho shoots instead of playing it wide to Rodinei for a cross and a, you know, tap in finish probably. So still room for improvement. I thought there were some other interesting things that we saw today, like Willian coming on and playing at the 10 for 15-20 minutes. We never seen that before. Okay, that was a 4 substitution. Chiquinho picked up a knock. His situation, actually, we learned his situation is going to be reassessed tomorrow, according to the manager in the press conference. So Chiquinho is actually doubtful for the Panathinaikos game. So if there's anything that's a little bit sour after today's game, is that Chiquinho looked to be getting close to, I don't not his best, but you know, he did what we expect from him in those European games, like contributing to the press. That duet of him and El Kabi press. Heze was great too as well today, by the way. Not just the goal that he scored, but like, okay, him and Mouzakitis together in midfield were really tenacious. They won a lot of balls high up the field, interceptions. Jules won. Like the stat sheets are going to be really interesting tomorrow. So I think that was worth mentioning as well from today's game.
Also, just a side note, holding the 0 at the back, like keeping a clean sheet. In Europe, even when we were winning at home last season, like we were conceding 2 goals mostly, like against West Ham. Maybe I forget the final score of that game. Maybe it was 2-0. But, against Fenerbahce, I remember we ate 2 goals. Tonight, it felt like we were kind of, after that save from Thrylos, it felt like we were in almost like that partnership of Retsos and Carmo together with Costinha and Ortega, the players felt very comfortable today. And I'm just, again, going back to that football we played today, like I didn't know if it was possible, if we were going to be able to play that way without Ibora being at the back and keeping things organized and calm. But it's just, it kind of reminds me of that period when we went with the 4-3-3 with Orta, Heze, and Chiquinho, where it flowed a bit more. Like Musakitis almost replacing Orta in this example. I remember last season we thought like, oh, that's going to be the midfield. But then we got exposed a few times because it was a bit too attacking. I'm really interested to see if Chiquinho plays. Like if he doesn't play, I guess you play Sergio Oliveira, who I think is really limited in the press. Like he's not quick enough and on it. Like I think he's a good player, but I think he struggles in that Chiquinho role. There's one player I'd like to see play there, and that's Bakulas. I think he played really well in that role in the preseason, but it's going to be exciting what we do. I'm really looking forward to this weekend's game, the derby, everything.
I agree with you about the tactical point, but I think it's also, we have something that we basically did not have for a lot of time. It's a clinical striker for the level we played in, because El Kaabi is basically the striker you do not want to face when you play in Conference League or Europa League. And we faced that so many times before with Olympiacos. Of course, I remember Zahavi, but not only, the striker that lives for punishing you when you make mistakes defensively. And the plan of Mendilibar tactically is that good when the striker is ready to play. And I don't think El Kaabi was at 100% at the beginning of the season because he had basically missed part of the preseason. But it's such a luxury to have a striker like that when you have a team that presses, because I love El Arabi, but physically he wasn't at the very best moment in his career when he played for her, especially the last season. The difference with that compared to El Kaabi is massive, like running, not even to press, not only to press, but I don't think El Kaabi is appreciated as much as he should, in my opinion.
I mean, you could argue he's getting paid 2.75 million a season or whatever it is. I mean,
rightfully
if
so,
anything,
man. 2 goals today, basically. It's great pressing, great in the press, constantly running. Just
I don't think he's 80% fit yet. He's not fully match fit. Like
I think Martial said in the chat, like re-signing him, since it happened so early in the summer, I think we forgot how fucking important this guy is and how important he is to this system of Mendilibar. Like, you can lose Fortunis, you can lose Podence, and you can still play this way, but if you lose a striker like El Kaabi, can Mendilibar still play this way? Like, I struggle to think for sure, yes. So
this comment is maybe coming to the point with the amount of energy that's being given, like the style of play, is it sustainable in the long term? But it's the first time we've really seen it this season, to be fair. And we've heard a lot about preseason being like particularly challenging. They've obviously done a lot of running, but I think we also said, or at least I certainly did, that I expect the team to start playing better towards the end of October. That was my expectation. If we were going to see the kind of Olympiacos that we saw last season, that it would take longer than most Olympiacos fans would desire. And that the challenge in that sense was being able to get to that part of the season intact, because the results weren't going well, but it shifted. The Atromitos game was important, and today's huge. Like the belief that today's game will give them to the players is, I think it's hugely significant. Like certainly for the European games, the Greek games will still be challenging. We're still trying to figure it out, but to this question, I think that's why we have a bigger squad. Like, look at the subs that were made today. I think Lagis was also asking earlier what we thought about the fact that we subbed our centre backs off. Marshall, I know that you've had comments about this in the past, but like, is it really a bad thing? Taking Retsos off with the yellow cards, putting Pirola back on to kind of get some minutes after getting injured? Is that a bad thing?
I don't know. At 3-0, I don't think so, because the game was basically secured. It's not tonight that it frustrates me. It's much more when it does it in the league, pretty much in every game, because I think it might be also because I'm quite old school about that. Surely with 5 subs, you have to involve more players and you have more flexibility about what you can do on the game during a game. So it's not surprising that I would say that it changes a center back, but it's still something that I don't understand. The simple fact that the coaches can make 5 subs, to me, it's not really sustainable. It's too much. I remember saying that many times in the post, mainly with Pedro Martins, because you don't have to sub off 5 players, in my opinion. It's too much. And that's what leads to 32, 33 player squad, because you have 5 players that can play. Like 16 players can play in one game, and it's quite a lot of players. But
I agree with Martial, and like going back to the comment about, is the playing style, is that sort of sustainable? Well, if you go into our schedule, the nice thing about playing Greek football is, yes, we're playing back-to-back Olympiacos, Braga, Panathinaikos, Olympiacos, but like when we get back, we play Levadiakos at home, Malmo away, Asteras Tripoli away, Kalithea away, Panathinaikos at home, Rangers at home. Like, these are not games where you're exerting your full energy, pressing and running against high-level opponents where you can't drop the level. So we're not asking the players to play like this all year, right? Like, there are games in the Greek league where it's a different type of energy, where you have to be patient, where you have to break things down, but you're not running the amount you're running. The amount Chiquinho and El Kabi ran tonight, they're not running in 2 weeks against Asteras, right, at home in the Kariskaki. It's a different style of football that we need to adapt with. So in Europe and for derbies, I think we can play this football because, like Martial said, we have a larger roster. We have 30 players. And also because we're not back to back like in the Premier League or something like that. We can play different football against the lower level Greek sides, less intensive football. We still need to get results. We need to get goals, but the football is different. We're not running as much. We're not behind the ball. We're not.
I don't understand also why we take for granted that someone that played 90 minutes on a Sunday can't play 90 minutes on a Wednesday and can't do it again on a Sunday. They do train for that. The issue is that when you have players like Rodri that plays Premier League, Champions League until the end, international football until the very end of a tournament, you have 60, 70 game, but it's not to be compared with like 50 game with Olympiacos, because out of 50 game you have smaller teams to play against, and I don't believe that every starters tonight can play a full game against Panathinaikos, because we played in Kariskakis basically most of the players already are at home right now. Like they're basically resting like right now. They will barely train before the derby, and we're playing in Athens anyway.
Yeah. People forget
Yeah.
that. Like people don't forget the lives
It's
of the players.
basically their job to rest after games. Like they have trainers around, they have food, water, tools,
Equipment.
equipment.
And they're sleeping in their own bed. I'm watching Cosmotes up on my TV right now, and I'm looking at the pouring rain in Bosnia, like the run they just like tonight is worse for Panathinaikos. Like they played the late game tonight, so they're showering, speaking to media, getting on a coach, and then going to the airport, flying. What is it, like 2 hours from Bosnia? They're probably going to make it home at like 4 a.m. and go to sleep. Tomorrow's Friday. They probably won't even train because the players will be dead. Saturday, day before the game. That's it for them,
But
right?
Look at Hedze, man. We've been saying about Hedze. He's going to be tired. He's going to be crushed. I don't think so, man. When you look at him playing, I think the beginning of his season was not that good compared to what we used to see from him last season. But it's also basically because the team was still struggling. But players being tired is something I don't really understand. I know it happens, but it's basically fans that project their fears over players, in my opinion.
And this is a point to say, like, we had international break like 2.5 weeks ago, and a lot of players got to rest during that period. But I'll cut off that point to just say to everyone, we have almost 200 people in here. If you're listening to us live, make sure to like our content over on YouTube. That spreads our mission long and far. And if you like what you're listening to, hit the subscribe button. We're here after most games doing pregame content. You can find everything we do on here on YouTube. And that also leads me to say, please vote for us for the Football Choice Content Awards, We're up for an award, the best international podcast in all of football. We are being considered, our Olympiacos family here, Thrylos International, you all included, we are being considered to be one of the best podcasts in the whole world. And we want to thank you for that. And you can vote for us. I don't have the link with me right now, but you can find it on our social medias in our link tree and down below in the description. On that note, Costa, what do you take away from this game, and what are you looking forward to in Oaxaca? A classic Greek derby, the first Olympiacos Panathinaikos derby this season. What are you looking forward to?
I think Marshall made some really great points just now about the fact, you as well, Labro, the fact that these guys have just finished the game. They're going to go home, sleep in their own beds. There's going to be recovery tomorrow. The game's on Sunday. And, Panathinaikos, like you said, coming back from a shitty result in Bosnia, flying back, they're going to be more tired, I would say. I don't expect a great deal of heavy rotation from the manager because we're going into the international break right after. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, go with the same recipe and play the game. Like, if we play 75% of what we showed today in terms of intensity, I think we're going to cause them problems. Obviously, we're very efficient today. It's good to see. I think, we're going to go there with confidence. And like any Olympiacos fan, I'll say, go there, expect to win. I think it was painful for me, for all of us last season, how many times we played Panathinaikos. We didn't beat them once in the league, in the regular season, in the playoffs, in the cup. We played them 6 times last season, 6 times without beating them. It's about bloody time. And the memories I have of Oaxaca is like Matt Derbyshire running away after scoring a 1-0 victory. So I'm looking forward to going back over there and kind of, ruining Panathinaikos fans' days on Sunday night.
When was the last time we played Panathinaikos in Oaxaca? Like, the clearest memory I have which is super weird. I'm sure there's been another game since then. Was the Kutris assist Guerrero header where the freaking police tear gassed everyone? They cleared out the stadium. Surely we've played them there before, like before then. But I don't know why that's like ingrained in my memory. Does anyone remember in the comment section when was the last time we played Panathinaikos in Oaxaca? Because they moved back to Leoforos and now it's back to Oaxaca. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but
Maybe somebody in the comments can Google that.
Marcial, you remember the last game we played
well,
Oaxaca
it has
last
to
season?
be the Kutris assist with the Guerrero header.
You think so?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we need to play that derby without changing anything, as Costa said, because it's not up to Mendilibar to change now. It's up to the players that will come in against Panathinaikos, if they don't start, to prove that they could be starter onto the next game. And they do have the international break for some of them to show in training that they could offer solutions. But this game is too important to rotate or to change players. Unless someone is injured like Chiquinho.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big question mark, isn't it? And you mentioned Labro, whether it's Sergio that takes his place, you lose something. You lose something if you play Sergio in Chiquinho's place. The press is not the same. Willian was involved in the third goal. It's like he's involved in kind of forcing the error. The ball goes out to Rodinei, plays the cross, tapping almost for El Kabi. But it's not the same, like in terms of the intensity. And I wonder if we might Christopher Velde, guys, not a minute on the pitch today. Masuras maybe has a role to play if Chiquinho is injured and doesn't play on Sunday.
I think you have to play Oliveira, unfortunately. This is the thing. I really thought Bakulas would be the backup of Chiquinho. Like during the preseason, he felt like the most competent to play that position that obviously higher up the field next to the striker. I remember the game in Cyprus, he played kind of around there, but that's not going to happen. He's not getting a debut, but I'd be keen to see him in the league play in that position to get a chance. Going there, to be honest, he put Willian in for Chiquinho, and I think he realized right away, he was like, fuck, we cannot play our football with this guy playing at that position. So he took out Martins, who I think was pretty much ran his race at that point, and moved him to the wing and brought in Oliveira. But it still was like, you could tell we weren't, I don't know if it was because of the score or whether we took the foot off the gas, but we're slowing that press down for sure. But we're going to see. What do you think, Marcial?
With Panathinaikos, you never know, because, man, I remembered we played against like broke Panathinaikos, like with Donis.
Sua.
Yeah, in Sua, that those players, Magnusson, I don't recall those names, but those team were
that one Italian guy, Mesto or whatever his name is.
Donis' brother as a captain.
Do you remember the Italian like right back they had? His name was like Pesto.
No, but I remember the center back, the Brazilian bald guy, Moledo. We tried to sign.
We tried to sign him.
We tried to sign that guy. Yeah. What was that guy's name? Mesto. Fuck, I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Mesto. Don't θυμήθηκες αυτόν, man.
He's like the epic shit Panathinaikos. Well, they're still shit, but like growing up, shit Panathinaikos teams, they'd be like, that 40-year-old guy Mesto and Ledesma are like playing together, and it was like, it's gonna be tough to beat. Do you remember that guy?
Did they have Ledesma that played for Lazio?
No. Yeah, they did. He was like 36, wasn't he? Hold on.
Gian Domenico Mesto.
Mesto. It wasn't Pesto. It was Mesto. Come on, Mario.
Jesus.
The guy, oh my God, he played like quite amount of time. Like,
yes.
No,
That's an interesting CV.
But we were losing to those teams because they tried to play like a cup game. We have to play that as a cup game, because those games in the league before playoffs, they don't mean that much in terms of dynamic and stuff, but it does mean a lot in terms of points. And if we can kill an opponent right now, it has to be Panathinaikos, because if we win, basically Alonso is out. If not before, but I think it will be out if we win on Sunday.
Yeah, Lume. Jim K from Down Under says hello. Solid performance, good pace, pressure opponents. Early in the season, will become more solid. Trust our maestro. Isarostia Olympiacos. Speaking of maestros, basketball tomorrow. Basketball starts tomorrow.
I don't think Mesto have won against us.
Yeah, Mesto.
I'm looking at the
and
team.
Who was the other Serbian winger? Petric.
Let me remind you.
Forward that played for Fulham.
We won 3-1 against us with Marco Silva.
I was there. I was there at home. That was.
I will name you the team of Panathinaikos that day. Goalkeeper Luke Steele.
Tavlaridis was playing, I think. Luke Steele. Go on.
Tavlaridis with Moledo. Pranjic as a left back. Mesto right back. Midfielder of 4 with Zeka, Kutrubis, Villafañez, Abeid, and 2 strikers with Berg and Leto.
Leto was so fucking fat, man. He literally had like a
the bench is hilarious. Michael Lesian, Tassos Lagos, Nano.
They had Bumal, right? Bumal came up with that.
And Mamute, Yuri Mamute.
Oh my god, I thought there was okay.
Oh, Stramaccioni as a coach.
I could name our lineup, I bet you.
Did Tariq El-Yunusi score a goal in that game?
No, it wasn't that one.
I can tell you the lineup, actually, I bet you. I think it was Roberto in goal, Omar at right back, Botia, Da Costa.
Salino.
Yeah,
Salino, okay. Mazuaku, Cambiaso.
Botia.
He started Fuster, Fortunis, and Ide.
Yeah.
Did he play Milivojevic as well in the midfield?
Yes.
And then I'm missing one more attacking player. He brought in Hernani and Felipe Pardo in the second half, like in the 60th minute, to destroy them. But I forget the other attacker he had on the field. Who was the other attacker? Seba? Did he have Seba?
No, it was Dominguez Chori.
Chori, yeah, he went 3-10s. That's what he did. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Incredible.
So, meanwhile, there's like a little quiz going on in the chat. And anybody that watched the preview that I did yesterday will know that there are more than 5 players who played for Olympiacos and Braga.
I listened to some.
Already got some. Bruma, Hassan, Orta, Viana, Horta, Savino. There are a few others missing. Do you guys?
Pardo was one.
Felipe Pardo, yeah. There's more.
Oh my god.
Bruno Viana, I remember really well.
I lost myself into the.
Felipe Santana, did he ever play for Braga?
No. Ronnie Lopez.
Ronnie Lopez, yes.
And there's another one, Costinha.
Really?
Costinha was a Braga Academy player. Chiquinho,
yeah.
Carmo,
yeah.
So many.
Roderick Miranda, no.
Miranda Papadopoulou didn't come from.
Unfortunately,
he didn't come from there.
Alex has a comment from Marcial, so I'm going to bring this up.
Go.
Before you guys are done, can Marcial comment if we should be worried about Ike signing Javier Ribalta from Marseille? Seems he's good. I feel we lack in the technical director spot.
Yeah, I saw that. I was quite surprised, but honestly, as a non-fan, I can't really tell what Ribalta brought to the club because, those guys, I think it was director of football, basically. The name he had was director of football, but I don't really know what he brought to the club because the president of Marseille is Longoria, and it's like the mix of a president, a scout, a sport director, because he was a scout before. And I think Ribalta was supposed to be the sport director, but I don't recall him to be able to pick good players, or I don't think those guys, it reminds me of Boto in PAOK, for example. I think Boto was even better, but they don't have a lot of margin of working. I don't know if it makes sense.
So who was fired from like Panayotis Kone or what was it? Alves, the defender. What was his name?
Kone resigned.
Kone resigned, but there was the defender, like the Portuguese defender. What was his name?
I don't know. I think he's much more a coordinator between the sport director and the team. Like,
well, what's that guy's name? Bruno Alves? Is that his name?
Bruno Alves.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good memory.
No, but I don't really. I can't explain what Ribalta really brought to Marseille. In my opinion, it was just. Sometimes people think it's football manager. Like you had someone into the staff room, and it's supposed to bring the player no one heard before that you will sell for 50 million, for example. I don't think Ike can pull that. And look at the team of Ike right now. What do you expect Ribalta to do? They have 30 players.
Yeah, it's tough. Ike is a super complicated team, I think, to be the technical director to be. It's difficult.
But they do have a good, I don't recall his name, but they do have a good scout in France. The guy that picked up Eliasson, for example. They have done quite a good job in scouting, but I don't think...
For Ike, if I was a fan of Ike and I was looking at the roster, man, how do you, in 2024, still play like Haji Safi and Rota at right back? Like they needed to sign a like better caliber left back and right back, and they're like, no, we're gonna sign Eric Lamela. Like Stephen Zuber, he may be finished, like, but he's not a bad player, and he's been completely discarded, and they didn't get rid of him. It's like, why don't you pick up a talented right back or left back instead? But they're just like,
Thrylos is a good signing for me.
Yeah, he's a decent signing, but Kalens as well. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like their defense, like 35-year-old Vida Mukudi was never like an insane defender. He was like, okay, but
Lambro, since you're back in the US, can you tell me how Americans people face the fact that Eric Palmer Brown might have been the worst signing of Panathinaikos ever?
Oh my God.
He's a good player. He's getting healthy. Don't worry. He's almost ready for Panathinaikos. He'll play Sunday.
Do you guys want to hear two very interesting stats?
Tell us.
So these have been dropped in the Patreon group, actually. Shameless plug for Patreon. You can check out our Patreon if you guys want to support us. There are 3 different categories. You can join Patreon with just $1 a month. You get access to the WhatsApp group that I'm referencing here. There's extra content tier, $5 a month, and merchandise tier is $10. You can go and check that out. Description below. So first stat is that Ayoub El Kaabi's played 8 games this season. He's got 6 goals and 1 assist without Fortunis and without Bedens. 6 goals, 8 games, 1 assist. And the second stat, you're going to like this very much. The last time Panathinaikos won an away game in a European group phase, Christos Mouzakidis was 2 years old.
Is that real? Is that real? What was that guy on like the Greek coefficient Twitter account? He's like, "Oh, Presvis in though. Don't worry, Panathinaikos is here, man." God damn it, man!
I have another stat.
Oh God, here we go.
Just tweeted by Antonis Economidis. He said in the last, the Bosnian club Panathinaikos played.
Yeah,
they had to publish the books of the club, and they say the wage bill was just a little bit less than $500,000 of the club, the whole club.
The whole club. It's so Daniel Mancini makes more than Borat. Man, it's not possible, man. It's not possible. It's not possible. Freaking Mladenovic is like the highest paid player in all of Borak history if he would be there.
He finishes his tweet by saying, with the bonus of victory, we estimate that it goes over just a little bit more than $500,000.
Jesus Christ.
PAOK too today, man. They got the opponent ate a red card in the 55th minute. and they
With
just
the getting
couldn't.
from Olympiacos, man.
And they couldn't play football. Like I was so disappointed watching Greek teams today. Like I turned on like Cosmote 2, which had this like Greek channel that followed the Greek teams, and it was just like you weren't watching football, man. Like it was really bad. It was really bad. I know Panathinaikos like did a rotation, but Jesus Christ. But today was a good day for
Screw them. Zito Homogenia to Thryl. Thank you for that message, Apostole. Do you guys know what Nikos Andriopoulos is talking about?
No.
Karapialis lob. Go and Google. I think it was 4-2 Panathinaikos Olympiacos before the turn of the century. Definitely before the turn of the century. 1996 Cup? No, maybe. Anyway, 4-2 Olympiacos. It's a cup final. I think we go 2-0 down, and the fourth goal is scored by Karapialis. And he chips the goalkeeper from outside the box. That's a nice goal. If I'm sure you can find it on YouTube, you guys that haven't seen it, or anybody that's watching, that's listening, that is a little bit younger. That's an epic game of football to go and watch. Since we talked about the US a little bit, Pep Biel's looking good in MLS.
It's great
comment
news.
from Stefanis.
We need a sale so bad. Like how many, we haven't made money on a sale in a while. Like if you can get us 5 or 6 million, that's going to be really helpful for us for FFP and also for just having some money in the pockets to go get a decent target in January. So I hope that they buy him. I think his time here is done. He's mentally done at Olympiacos, but Charlotte, you read the Charlotte fans and they're like, this guy's the best 10 we've ever seen. Like in Charlotte, he's a legend. And you're like, oh my God, like, is MLS really that shit? So hopefully they buy him. Hopefully they match him. Just,
He told me, Pep Biel, and say, I'm so pleased to play with the legend Swiderski, the best striker Super League has ever had.
He's got a deadly partnership with Swiderski, man.
Swiderski is the biggest goal scorer of Charlotte. 27 goals. 20.
Imagine if Swiderski is your club legend. You like look up and you're like, they're gonna retire his jersey like Printezis does. They're like, everyone is there for the Swiderski retirement. Like, come on, man, that's funny. Everyone's
if
like,
anything,
when he hangs
club...
up the boots, they're like, we'll never find a striker like Swiderski again. He was one of a kind.
The kids won't go to school the next morning.
Oh God. But if anything, MLS clubs have got money though. I mean, how much did they spend? How much did they spend on Ponce? Like 9 million or something crazy.
Like 9 million euros. Someone paid 9 million euros for Ponce. Ponce keeps getting big moves when he's an incredibly mediocre striker. Like I don't understand that guy. It's just anyway.
Houston Dynamo, man.
Anyway, it's midnight Central European time, 1 o'clock in Greece. Should we round up with coach's grade, man of the match?
Yeah.
What do you think? Let's go back reverse alphabetical order. So, Marshall, you go first.
You had to think about that one, huh? M and L to the little. It's late. It's late. I know.
Marshall, coach's grade, man of the match. What you got?
The coach's grade would be an A for me because he dared to play Mouzakitis, and I think that's what will make Mendy Lebarbi the biggest coach Olympiacos ever had, because not only he won us a European Conference League, but he launched. It's a fact now. We can debate that it could have been earlier, but it's a fact he launched the player that won the Youth League, and he will be remembered for that.
I'm sorry, I just keep thinking about Swiderski. Like, I just... Like I'm thinking about the testimonial game where they hang up the Swiderski jersey, and it's just, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Just go on, Monzo.
And the man of the match would be El Kabi for me, because it costs me to say that because I have massive love and respect for El Arabi. But what El Kabi has been doing for this club is huge. And Costa, you know this club longer than me. I don't think Olympiacos has had a striker that is that good compared to the level of the club into European competitions, if that makes sense. For the reality of Olympiacos we're in right now, we have a striker that is almost too good for us, because I'm 100% sure if you put this El Kaabi in prime Sevilla, for example, he ends up with 15 goals in Europa League alone. It just needs to be, if the team finds a little bit more of balance and shape, as we did on the last two games, like it will have 35 goals easily. That's why it's my MVP.
Mano's calling me out here, Costa. Manos here, for the audio listener, says I'm always here after wins because YouTube can't handle my rage after games like Lyon and Pan. Wasn't I on the podcast after the Lyon game? I don't remember.
Yeah, Labros has changed his ways a little bit. Do I want to say that?
Negative. My life is happy, you know, all I see. Still, me and Costa will be one of the most legendary podcast moments. One of the worst really backwards moments would be sweating our balls off in my rooftop apartment, or whatever it's called, in Brussels, huddled over a computer, like sweating through our shirts, talking about Maccabi Haifa 4-0 Olympiacos, like one of the worst moments of the pod. But I cheer myself up when I think about Swiderski's face when he sees his jersey go up into the rafters. They're pulling the rope, you know. And Pep Biel's there down below, and he was like, "That's my brother right there. Man. That's my brother," you know. Like, anyway, MVP for me is also El Kaabi. I think Gelson Martins, I saw that comment, is a good shout. I just think the goals, you know, in Europe, what matters, it's the fucking goals and converting the key moments. It's the press. I think he's so important to everything we do, and it's his movement today. The central defenders were just incredibly uncomfortable all game because of him. So I give it to him. Mendy Libar gets an A minus. So on the central defenders getting subbed, Retsos, I think on the yellow card, it was the right decision. Just don't risk it. He's done that before where he's gotten a second yellow card for dumb reasons. And I also don't know if you guys noticed, but I think Carmo was cramping. There was a moment when he went down, he was cramping up. So I think maybe he took him out because he was cramping. I have no logic for you, but I would have wished to see Kostulas come on the pitch tonight to like see if he could fucking break the zero and see if he could score tonight in Europe. So that's it. You know, I'm happy.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfair, like the man of the match shout, because on the one hand, agree with you both. Like El Kaabi gets 2 goals today, he gets the plaudits. So, oh man, he's actually. I was looking at SofaScore a minute ago. Sorry, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent.
Dude Zolakis, man, dude Zolakis. That's what the fans want. And also,
no, like man. Okay, according to SofaScore, El Kaabi was man of the match. Rodinei second, Costinha coming in third. No, apologies, Zolakis third. But man, Bruma today barely got like a hint around the ball. Costinha was so good, man. And I talked about this yesterday. Like, I think it was so important that he started today. And that right-hand side, the combo with Rodinei, it was just what we needed in today's game. I think you said it earlier on in the show, Marshall. It won't work every game, but for a game like the one today, it was what was needed. And man, the guy can defend. Like, he has good positioning, doesn't dive in, stays on his feet. Like, very, very good, man. I've been so impressed with him the last 2 games, and today in particular. Like, he would have felt comfortable against a team that he's used to playing against. So I'm going off on a bit of a rant, but we haven't talked a lot about Castilla, and I thought he was really, really solid. Like, again today, and just showing why he was voted as one of the best right backs in the Portuguese league last season. And
When,
it's
when, when you think
such a
about
good
it,
signing, such a good signing.
Yeah.
it comes back to what I've tried to say since a lot of time. It's when Olympiacos in 2034 signs the guy that has been voted as the best right back of the Portuguese league. Portuguese league is a league in which a player from Rio Ave that has a good season costs almost 10 million. Like Jota playing in a random club, I don't recall, like
Guimarães, yeah.
costs 10 million. So if we get Costinha from the club Marinakis owns, people basically will think like, hey, it sucks. It comes to us because Marinakis brings players he doesn't want in this club, just like he did with Nottingham. And we had I don't know how we could convince Costinha to come to Olympiacos, but that's a massive signing.
Also, I kind of want to say, random note, but did you guys notice, like, while watching Bruma today, since you brought him in, it was like there were moments where I was like, this is why we didn't sign you, and this is why you pissed us off sometimes. It's like there are moments where you're like, oh shit, Bruma's got the ball, this is scary. And then 75 minutes where you're just like, where is Bruma? Like, he hasn't touched the ball, he's doing nothing. And I was like, and I had like PTSD. I was like, fuck me, this is like Bruma from when we had him. When he was on the ball, I was like, and he's running at someone, I was like, oh shit, this guy's good. And then every other minute of the game, you're just like, Bruma is completely nowhere. Like, where is Bruma tonight? And it just gave me PTSD of like being like, what is Bruma? Like, will Bruma work at Olympiacos? And all those debates we had. But anyway, go on, Costa.
No, it's a really good point. I think why we didn't pay 6 million for him. Okay, I was saying yesterday we didn't pay 6 million for him, and we paid 5.5 for Henry freaking Onyekuru in the end. But coach's grade I didn't do. A+ for me, man. Like, I thought the lineup was 10 out of 10. If you look at some of the preferred lineups or even predicted lineups that we've seen today, I don't know how many people predicted Gelson Martins would start out on the left. Nikolakopoulos did mention it as a possibility during the report he gives it around lunchtime, but it didn't cross my mind, and I think it worked great today. Like, it was one of, like, I haven't seen a performance like that from a winger at this club for a good while. Like, he didn't get an assist or a goal, but like, man, like, nutmegging their defenders and just leaving them for dead. And every time he's played this season, he's played as a right winger. I think it's the first time we've seen him on the left this season, and I think he looked better out there. Actually, looked better out there on the left. I think it's bad news for Christopher Velde. Honestly, I think he'll get his time, but that's something in the squad that's gone a little bit differently from what I expected. With him, he's been a bit disappointing the last couple of games, or really since the official season started. He's been a bit disappointing. He scored against Galicia and so otherwise been subbed off on the 45th minute the last couple of games. Something he needs to think about how he can improve, how he can get better. But yeah, Mendy, 10 out of 10, like A+ for me today. Good subs, great lineup, and like you guys said, had the balls, no qualms whatsoever to give a debut to a 17-year-old kid with not a single strain of facial hair on his face, you know. And yeah, honorable mention to the kid again, just like brilliant.
Also, Costa, I want to ask you, maybe Marcial as well, if Andre Horta is available January 1st, would you sign him to come
No.
to Olympiacos. There you go. I asked the chat if Braga says Andre Horta's not good enough, we're selling him January 1st, good price, we could get him. Do you take him? I think the answer for me is no. And Muzakitis Pakulas is why. But Andre Horta was also very mediocre tonight. I don't know whether it's the system. He struggled to figure it out.
He had the pass to his brother for the shot that Zolagi saved.
The first goal was on him, though. That clearance was...
Yeah. I still think he's a good player, and I think it was right not to pay 6 million for him. I don't know in the end, like, did we offer 4 and all this stories about him getting on the plane and being pulled off, and I don't like we won't learn now. Maybe we'll learn in the future, but nah, man, like.
But I think people like Achilles here. Okay, Achilles Beos. I wonder what that's in reference to. I'd get. He basically said if we get rid of Stamenic and Danny Garcia, of course. But those are very different profiles, supposedly to play different positions than Andre Horta would be.
It's like if Chiquinho's carrying a knock, right?
Yeah. Would he be better? Would Andre Horta be there? Yeah. That's the question.
He'd be the player that would play there for me, actually.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Andre Horta is like on a plane back here in January. Next summer, I don't know. Go on Twitter and type in like Andre Horta and then like Google Translate fucking Portuguese, and they're not happy very much at all. They do not like him. So yeah. So we'll see.
All right.
I think
I just have a stat for you, Lambros.
Oh God, is it a Swiderski stat or?
No, but I've just seen that the guy that has the most game for Charlotte has 97 game.
And don't tell me it's Swiderski.
No, it's not. I don't recall the name of the guy, but it's.
He's a legend in our hearts.
It's not, but it's funny because we've been talking about MLS quite a lot here in France, for example. But I've always been struck by the poor amount of game that players actually plays in MLS. Like the season is so weird. But I'm not surprised that Pep Biel is perceived that good in Charlotte because they basically did not see any players like that before. And I'm not even joking saying that. And they paid 8 million to Celtic for Abanda, so they have money.
They do have money, and something else they have, soon. Is this right here?
Come on. Stop it. Please take that away.
But you want to see it won't match this, though. Does everyone remember this jersey? Does everyone remember that one? That was a good one. That's also going up in the rafters. The Petros Mandalos Fiorentina jersey. It's a good day, everyone. It's a good day. Let's be happy. Oh, I like this. Aris asks us, do we have a grade for Carlos Carvajal or Carnival?
No grade from me because he didn't come with the Gunagi. There was no Gunagi today, so he gets a C minimum. Maximum.
Like I was also thinking about Bruma during the game, and then also I was thinking during the game, like, fucking Carlos Carvalho sucks, man. Like his changes were terrible. You're just like, how does this guy keep getting jobs? And he's supposedly doing a good job at Braga.
He's basically the Michel of Braga, man.
Yeah, he's like the Michel of. But I was gonna say the same. You look at his record, and it's like Braga 80% win percentage. It's like any other club 20%. It's like, wait, what? Makes no sense.
God damn it. Libon.
We're going to miss him.
Let's wrap it up. Carvajal what's this? Guys, I've heard Carvajal got booed. Was it about not giving us Orta because it was disrespectful? I have no idea.
It's insane to think that Charlotte has a stadium of 75 million seats.
75,000.
75,000.
75,000 seat stadium.
Yeah, they play in the American football stadium, I think.
For real? That's crazy.
It's going to be different when they're It's going to be a big lift to get that jersey up in the rafters.
Big bomb. Other guys, let's wrap it up. Thank you for bearing with us tonight. Great night for Olympiacos. 3 points, first 3 points in the group stage of the Europa League match day 2. We've got Malmö next away in the Europa League, but before that, as we've said, Panathinaikos on the weekend, then international break. So let's look forward to that. Tomorrow there's the basketball, 8:30 p.m. Greek time tip-off against Fenerbahce. That's away from home against one of the sides I think that's made really interesting transfers. A Wade Baldwin going in there. Bonzi Colson also from Maccabi. Marjanovic just signed for them like a couple of weeks ago as well. Yeah, they've got a really stacked team over there at Fener. I think that's going to be a
they have the Lithuanian coach too, Sarnas.
Jasikevicius, yeah,
he's
their coach since last January. That's going to be an interesting game. I think we'll see if we have a reaction to that post-match live, or at least there'll be something from Dimitri for sure, guys. So like and subscribe, help us to continue growing this red and white community, help make Thrylos International the place that brings together the most red and white fans from across the world, getting close to 6,000 subs. So subscribe, hit the bell, make sure you get notifications whenever we go live. There's more content coming your way, including a vlog from the BRAGA game too. All right, so let's leave it at that. We're Thrylos International, by the fans, for the fans. We'll